if an email that a general officer sent 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, talking about defending sexual assault, defending service members accused of sexual assault cost him his job, that's scary because what's the ripple effect of that? The ripple effect of that is who's going to be put in his place? Well, the person they're putting in his place is on the opposite side of the spectrum. They're going to prosecute everything. So that the leadership that's going to be over the OSTC, at least on the Army side, is going to be gung-ho, prosecute everything, because if an email or a series of emails that were a decade old talking about fighting cases on the defense side cost this general officer their job, what is going to be the kind of the ethos, or what's going to be the way of thinking for the new individual or the new general officer who's in that position? It's going to be high and to the right, that they prosecute everything because they want to get promoted. They want to keep their job. It's going to be prosecute everything, cases whether there's probable cause, cases whether they think that they can obtain and sustain a conviction. My thought is we're going to see prosecutions of everything. And instead of having the desired effect of expending more time, money, effort, and resources on those cases which are deserving of prosecution, which is what the Army and all of the military should be doing. We shouldn't be wasting time, money, effort, and expense prosecuting service members who are falsely accused or cases which are obviously trumped up allegations where they're not meritorious. We should be focusing our taxpayer dollars and resources and time on prosecuting individuals who, perhaps even committed these offenses. This is coming from a defense attorney saying this, a career defense attorney saying this. But the opposite is not going to happen. What's going to happen, again, in my belief, from seeing the General Wells firing, is going to be a ramp up, and we're going to see more prosecutions. Because now let's think about the ripple effects of that. If you are a general officer and you lost your job because of that, what happens if you're an 06 or an 05? And what happens to the captain? So the captain who's prosecuting these cases thinks, well, the head prosecutor, who's a general officer, formerly lost his job as a GO and was fired because he was pro-defense when he was a defense attorney. What's the ripple effect? Is it going to be take no quarter and give nothing to the defense on the prosecution side? We're going to see, I believe, more gamesmanship, more prosecutions, more unfair trials, more stacking of the deck. And a service member who was supposed to have been getting the benefit of the doubt by having a chain of command that are decision makers who are outside the chain of command and who are lawyers making determinations on prosecution, it's going to be even worse for them. So we're going to go from bad to worse very, very quickly. And we're seeing that already. And these OSTCs just stood up very recently, but we're already seeing the ramp up in gamesmanship within weeks of the OSTC standing up. We're seeing the gamesmanship ramp up. We're seeing issues with discovery. We're seeing more witnesses being denied, experts being denied. We're seeing we saw a lot of the high quality litigators that were in the Army in particular and the other services. They got all pulled over to the OSTC side and leaving no one for the defense. And so the defense now has very few experienced senior litigators. There are a handful that are out there. I'm not saying there are none. There are a handful that are out there. But the powers that be pulled everyone with a high level of experience and competence over to the prosecution side. So the defense is really outnumbered and outgunned on the active duty side. We're seeing a higher level of gamesmanship. We're seeing a higher level of cases being prosecuted, which shouldn't be prosecuted. So in my opinion, at least initially, this whole experiment, and we'll call it that, has absolutely backfired. And now more than ever, service members I believe are going to be, and we'll see probably getting screwed over more than ever with sexual assault. So it's even a heightened call for the Uniform Defense Counsel to really stand up and take on these cases. But you have to wonder if these are career JAGs. They're saying, well, if General Wells was fired over an email, I'm not going to put myself in a position where how hard am I going to really fight these cases if I want to stay in the military? So if you have a detailed military defense counsel who has career aspirations, it's questionable how much are they really going to fight and put themselves out there, and that they're really going to go to the mat for you, or are they going to have concerns over their own career? And these aren't just concerns. This is real, because we saw a general officer fired from the most senior prosecutor position in the Army because he was pro-defense 10 years ago when he was being paid to run a defense office. So that's what we're seeing. It's incredibly troubling, and it really elevates the need for these young attorneys, these military counsel, to go out and fight for their clients, despite the fact that it may cost them their career. They need to go out and do the best work they can and that they're able to do that. They're charged with doing. They're required to do that level of work. They have an ethical obligation, a moral obligation, just a professional obligation, and perhaps even raises the caliber, so to speak, of the need for civilian defense counsel who are outside the chain of command. Folks like myself and other civilian counsel that have been doing this for a decade or more, or decades, it really increases the need for counsel like myself and other counsel, because now we're outside of the chain of command, and you really need that more than ever. If you want to reach out to me and do a consultation and take this to the next level, give me a call at 813-669-3500, or reach out to us on our website, www.bileckilawgroup.com.